everybody. Welcome to Table Talk.
Yes, welcome.
Yay.
Happy Monday.
Yay, happy Monday. We're glad you're here, whatever day that you're watching this. So we are glad you're here with us. Hopefully you have some caffeine with you as well. Yeah, it's really good. So how are you, Becca?
I'm well.
You're well.
I'm recovering after a crazy week, but you know, it's good.
Yep, and
good.
Mother's Day and all the shenanigans. And, yep, and spring is here and the rain has finally stopped and we might actually get warmer temperatures and sunshine.
And then everyone's going to turn on the air conditioning.
Yeah, and then we're going to complain that it's too hot, and that usually happens.
I like the winter. I like it colder.
I know. Well, speaking of grow on, everything's growing, and hopefully we get our lawn cut this week.
Yeah, it's beautiful out
and
today.
It was raining so much before, so everything's growing, including us.
Yeah.
Yay, hopefully.
Very apropos sermon series, Pastor
Hopefully,
Chris.
not fat baby.
No fat babies.
Okay, so if you didn't look it up, if you didn't watch the sermon yesterday, watch it because there's a reference to a song called Fat Baby, and you need to look it up on YouTube.
I'm giving a nice plug for Amy Grant.
Yes, Amy Grant classic. There's like a classic video. When was it? Was it 80s?
It might have been early 90s.
Was it early 90s? Okay. Well, anyway, they got the hairstyles and that kind of thing.
It's good.
And anyway, yeah, it talks about like a lack of spiritual growth and being basically a fat baby. So that's to start out today. So anyway, we're in the third week we talked about this week of the message with Grow On, and this week about postcards and really talking about evangelism, but not a sense of us being the bullhorn guy or hey, we're putting tracks on people's desks and stuff, but it's us. It's us, and that when we're living a kingdom life, like we're representing Christ, you know, and the way we live and the way we speak and just being attentive to, like I said, the needs and opportunities around us.
Yeah, I was thinking, I was listening to the sermon this morning because I was out doing things and being a mom for a little bit yesterday. So I went and re-listened to the sermon, and I'm like, you know, I think all these sermons, Pastor Chris is saying the same thing. You're not supposed to be comfortable right now.
No.
Every single one has the same message. You're supposed to feel a little squirmy in your, you know, and you know, not be super comfortable being a Christian. I mean, it's good to be a Christian, but you know, go out and put yourself out there and have fun. But
isn't growth uncomfortable though? Like,
yes, like you said, it's uncomfortable.
Especially like a teenager, like you're awkward and it feels weird, and it's like, you know, like that's actually a good thing. And I have to say, like even like as I'm like writing the messages, like I feel kind of challenged too.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, well, how much of this do I say? And I don't want to like turn people off, but at the same time, like, but this is like, you know, what scholars and people are also saying, and people that are actually like doing this and making a difference. So it is. I think it's good to feel like if you're feeling that way, like it's good. Yeah. It's actually good because that means that like you're being challenged.
Right, and it's not easy to be in a community of people who also are feeling the same way. You know, if you're all doing it right, there's going to be conflict. There's going to be people who don't agree with you, and working your way through that it's not a bad thing. That's how you grow. Conflict, it's not going to be all rainbows and butterflies and unicorns. Right.
And that's part of, I think, the Christian faith is that we're walking this together and we're figuring out, and it's a process.
I think it's good for people of all different places in their walk to hear this, because people who have been a Christian for a really long time are used to it being a certain way, maybe, but also people who are kind of newer to the church scene and the community. It's good to encourage them not to be discouraged when something doesn't go the way they thought it should, or they're uncomfortable, because it's part of being in a community. It's just like being in your family. You love them no matter what, and sometimes there's conflict and you have to work through it. So I mean, I just wanted to put that out there. It's uncomfortable for both types of people who've been there a really long time, because maybe they're just stuck in a rut like the fat baby, but the new people, it's okay to experience a little bit of discomfort and you know, or have a little bit of conflict, or be like, what's up with that person? They're kind of weird, and I'll get used to it.
Or where are they coming from?
Right.
Let me understand that better.
So I like that. It's good for both kinds of people. Your sermons are really good for this right now.
Thanks. Yeah. Well, I hope so. So and that's what this is. It's meant to be a challenging series. You know, like there's times for the encouragement. Jesus loves us. Let's be reminded of that. But there's also times for like, and that's why I think with spring, it's a good time for that growth. Yeah. And to just kind of look at things and look at our walk with Christ. And and I don't know about you, but the one like point in the message, like even talking about Jesus sending those 72 out, the part that there was like a gasp was the part that I talked about, that he said, I'm sending you out like sheeps in the midst of wolves.
Yeah.
And about how our faith needs to be an adventure.
Right.
And it was really funny because like as I was like preaching, like there was like an audible like wow.
Not a like, oh gosh, you didn't say that. It was more like what?
Like a oh my gosh, like I've been missing that, or I've been like, it was really interesting because I wasn't expecting that at all. And then I was just reflecting on that yesterday, and I'm like, wow, like I think for many of us, like following Jesus and going to church and all very easily becomes this rote kind of process, or just something that we do, and maybe it's good and we feel good or whatever, and maybe we're helping, but it's not an adventure.
Yeah.
And we've lost it.
Also, it's more of an escape for some people to feel better.
Right.
And it does, I mean, it is that. It is, you feel comfortable and you love your community and your family. But it's also more than just that. It's you know, it's the adventure piece that you're talking about. Where
it's like, what's God's going to do next?
Yeah.
Like,
be excited.
Yeah, every day to be like, hey, what's God going to do next? Like, where I'm going to work, or I have this appointment, or I have this, even in church life, like how could God use us, like together in our gifts?
I do like the fact that you talk about the sacred versus secular a lot too.
Yeah.
And I think that does play a part in our growth, to realize that, there's the high church, and there's just, when we go to church, that's where we do the churchy things.
Right.
But it's more, it bleeds into every aspect of our life. And when we're able to do that successfully, it really shows. And people can see how much you love your community and you love God. And so sacred and secular, it's not really there, it's kind of everywhere. It's the sacred and the secular are kind of just blurred together.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's where I think the evangelism is. There's not a sense of we're not taking Jesus to anybody. He's already at work. Yeah. He's already doing things. Like, it's us being attentive to what he's doing already, and saying, I use that story of the coworker who just had a gift for noticing when something was like kind of off with people, and would just say, yeah, do you want to go out to dinner? Do you want to go out to coffee? And they would just listen and be there for them. And that was just what a difference, something so simple, but the risk that she took in that.
And I really think that our mission statement of Table Life Church is, our mission is to learn the way of Jesus as we invite others to join us at his table. And honestly, that's what your service was about, inviting others to be a part of this. And even if they don't want to, you at least did what you were supposed to do,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and that's where, Jesus is like, let it go. Shake the dust off your feet. Like, let it go. That's in God's hands. Don't turn them off. Don't be like, okay, I hate you now, whatever. Like, still have relationship, but not a sense of like, oh, everything relies on me.
And I think people get stuck in the point where there's like, I have to witness. Right. I'm not sure if
it has to share the whole gospel and what it means.
Yeah, and then that's the end point. I'm wondering if it's more of a relationship with somebody that maybe you don't talk about God the first time, or maybe it's
probably shouldn't.
Years of meeting someone or talking about their religion and your religion, and making that relationship, and they know about you, and you're not hiding the fact that obviously letting them know they're welcome to be. But it's more of it doesn't end after you say, do you want to come to church? And they say no. It doesn't end there.
Exactly.
You continue that friendship and that relationship.
It's not a transaction.
Right. And I have friends who aren't Christians, who are, practice other religions. And I'm not going to stop being their friend because they decided they don't want to come to my church and be a part of my community.
Right. Yeah.
They're part of my community in another way.
Right. And there's so much that we can learn from other people too, and express, but also you never know what a difference that you might make. You might be the one Christian that's not the crazy one that they've met.
Right.
Or that they, you know what I mean?
I've actually heard that. I thought Christians were way different than this.
Right. To say, wow, well, you're not one of those. You're different. So tell me about, why are you different than what I see on TV?
And that's I think it's a beautiful thing, that people can get along and talk about these things, and, it's okay that they don't come to church. But.
Right. Right, and like we said, it's that that invitational posture. It's not converting people. It's not saying, okay, here's the 4 spiritual laws, and here's a piece of paper, and do you accept this? And acknowledging that for some people, maybe even watching, maybe that was your story, and maybe that's not saying that's impossible.
Right.
But most likely, that's not the avenue that's going to build that relationship to a point that someone will have a healthy relationship with God.
But I think the discernment comes in there too. The right time, like your friend who knew what the right time was to say something. So you just need to be being in your community here at church, learning and growing, and then you'll get discernment. It's like discipleship, you know.
It is.
It's basically discipleship. You have people who are doing that to you, and you are being friends with other people, and you get that discernment to know when the right time to invite someone to church is. So being open to that and open to the Spirit leading, I think that's a really good point too. It's not just blasting people, inviting them, and then being like, I'm not your friend anymore.
Yeah.
You know, it's discerning, knowing when that person might need, and that comes with relationship.
Right.
And part of discipleship is relationship. You have to have that.
Yeah, so, and one thing I didn't mention in the sermon that I want to, so I'll mention it here, is going back to that circle diagram where we have the people following Jesus, kind of Jesus at the center. We have the crowds, the followers, the disciples, and the leaders. Well, the people that are in our lives are at each of those points too. So it makes sense to invite them appropriately.
Right.
Like, so if someone is like totally like not interested in church, has nothing to do with God, whatever, like invite them to something has to do with the crowd.
Right.
Like that might be like a fire pit that we're having, or another event, or hey, we're doing a cookout at my house, or
the supper
that
table.
kind of thing. Yeah, the supper table.
Dinner church.
Like just those types of things. Like it may do it appropriately. Don't invite them like to your small group, to your table group, like because that might freak them out. That might be really, really weird. But
uncomfortable.
But if someone say they have been following Jesus, but they're just not connected to a church, then it might make sense to say, hey, join me for worship, or hey, we're having a common meal, like those types of things that are kind of like another step closer. So I think thinking of that appropriately, like where is somebody, like kind of gauging, like, okay, you know, just in general, but then saying like, well, what is an appropriate invitation? Like, and it may just be, hey, let me get to know you. Let me spend time with you. Let's build a relationship and trust and build it that way. So.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. I like on your doggy bag, and the worship guide is posted online too.
Oh yeah, the questions.
What is one small step you might take in turning your faith outward? Don't go alone. Who can you ask to journey with you? Yeah. It's nice to have, to have people in your community you can talk to about this kind of stuff, Yeah.
And to pray for you too, to be like, hey, I have this friend and I don't know what to do or say. Can you just pray for me?
Right. And also taking, small steps. There's plenty of things you could do, or if you have ideas. Yeah. If you see something, say something, Yep, you think something needs to be happening and you want to lead it. That's.
Yep. There's lots of ways. Yeah.
I like how you mentioned the supper table and the sermon about how there's one way you can serve, and it could be scary, people you don't know, it's different, but hey, why not? It's a shot in the dark.
And there may be other opportunities, and that's what we're really looking for. There may be ways that Table Life Church can have kind of like, I see like tentacles in the community in different expressions. Like one may be a supper table. Yeah. We have the game night. Yeah. Maybe we have somebody that does a walking group or
prayer walks.
And not even prayer, just so, hey, fitness. Let's get some people together to go when the weather's nice for walks or whatever. If you have an idea like that, that may just be some connections that they'll look different than Sunday morning does, but it may be just a way to connect people where they are.
Absolutely.
So that's good
stuff.
It. Yay. Well, thanks, Becca. Thanks for the conversation. And always good to chat with you. And I hope this has been helpful for you guys. Yeah, we love you guys. We're glad that you're here. And make sure that you join us this Sunday. We're going to have, we're going to take a little bit of a break from the Grow On series. And we're going to be looking at the question of why go to church. And so we will be having a special guest speaker. Yes. So John Schaefer from the Capillary Pregnancy Center is going to be speaking. So so he's awesome. You definitely don't want to miss him. And and so be here or be square or something.
Yeah, I guess that's how you say it.
Whatever. Or join us online, 11 o'clock. And we hope you guys have a great week, and we'll see ya. Bye.
Have a good week. Bye.